Landowners have been looking for ways to do things more efficiently since the beginning of time, right? First, in modern times, you had the horses, and the horses were doing a lot of work. They were plowing, they were getting rid of the rocks and the stumps in people's yards so they could plant gardens. Then came the tractor. With the invention of the tractor, they started adding things like the PTO and the loader, and it was just an amazing revolution for how much you could get done on your land as a tractor owner and as a landowner. Well, then came hydraulics, right? Hydraulics became a force to be reckoned with. You see what I did there? Anyway, so people started adding this thing called a grapple onto the front of their tractor, and that grapple was able to pick up sticks and debris and things like that and help clean up your land even more. Now, farmers will use the backside of their tractor for plows, for planters, for subsoilers, for anything you can put on the back, but you can also put a rake on the back of it. I have found that this combination of a landscape rake and a grapple is going to be the best combination you can use as a landowner slash tractor owner to get the sticks and the debris out of this wooded lot. Now, if you haven't seen that last video that we've done, we took our skid steer with our forestry mulcher on it, and we went over there and we cleaned this little lot up for this small church that I go to. So today we're going back over there with the TYM T574, and we're going to put the grapple on the front, landscape rake on the back, and we're going to get this thing cleaned up for this little church so they can start using it for get-togethers, fellowship hall, maybe dinner on the ground, things like that. So this is an important thing. So, you know, you got to do things to help your community, your church, your neighbor, and that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to use the tractor and the combination of these two attachments to make it go good. All right? Just a few minutes, get everything swapped out, right? Took the bush hog off, had to put the pallet forks on to get the landscape rake down, blah, 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 blah. A lot of work to do, right? I'll explain about why I took out these tines later on in the video, in case you were wondering. All we gotta do is tie this hammer, knock her down, and get to work, come on. Okay, we made it to the church, and this is what we did with the forestry mulcher here. These pieces like this, all the kind of the big chunks of stuff. Now, I didn't bring a chainsaw. I don't think I'll need one, but this is the kind of stuff we're going to clean up. You know, we'll move this out of the way. I should be able to break that with the tractor. It looks pretty rotten. There's 5 or 6, 8 of these, and then there's a spot over here I could not get into with the mulcher because of those trees right there. So I'll move those around. But so what I'll start off doing first is I'll go grab all the big limbs first, and then grapple and rake the debris that's out here. But you can, it ain't going to show up on camera, but it's very, very uneven because of where I turned the skid steer around and stuff like that. But I think this combination of the grapple and the landscape rake, I think it's going to be killer. I think it's going to make the best impact on here because we're just trying to get it cleaned up for now. So let's see if my decision to bring the landscape rake and the grapple was a good decision. I think most of them are going to break like that all day. Or several of them anyway. 460.5 on the clock for those of you wondering. Make sure I get not hit my cab on anything. Just gonna stack them all by this tree line. Next victim is right there. It's a big tree, but I don't think it's heavy. So let's see about that one. If nothing else, I think we can drag it. That one right there might be a little difficult. Got that one. But yeah, maybe I'll go with the easy ones first. The trick to getting these big trees like this, these fallen trees, if they're heavy, is to keep the load like super low to the ground, centered as possible, but super low to the ground. See, this was gonna, I'm pretty sure this was gonna break. This is too long to try to carry through here. So let me see if I can't get it broken in two and I can carry it in two pieces. Let me see if I can push it through these two trees to break it. Just don't want to damage your tractor. Maybe not. Drag it, huh? I mean, it's definitely not heavy. Alright, we'll drag it, or we'll try to finesse it out of here somehow. I'll just keep it low and centered. But Another thing about this combination is there's no ballast. I mean, that landscape rake don't weigh 150 pounds. Caught on that tree. Man, whatever you don't want to do is you don't want to get this thing hung up on something and tweak your loader. That is no bueno. So see how low it's going on? See how low I'm carrying it on the ground? I'm about to get over this. Once I clear that, I'll take a sharp right turn. There we go. Now we got to clear that. Alright, we cleared that. Now we're home free. Now I can lower it some more, keep the center of gravity nice and low. And I don't want any lateral movement on my loader if I can help it. Basically what I did was I just kept moving, inching it to the left where I could get it out of the pile over there, because it's not heavy at all. Just awkward. That's killer. I mean, there's just no, that's killer. Alright, let me go get the magnet from my camera and I'll set you guys up and we'll just start. That's going to be awesome. Let me get out and show you exactly how clean that was. I mean, look at that. Look at that side and look at this side. There's not even, it's awesome. And that's why I was talking to you earlier about taking out these tines. Well, I take the tines out so that I don't collect dirt. It just gets these big sticks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try to drag it all down to that line and then push it in with a grapple. Or I might skim it with the grapple first. That's probably what I'll do, is I'll just leave the grapple about like that and then let the rake pick up what the grapple don't get. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna do a great job. Funny story about me having to get my magnet. My granddaughters dropped my other camera in the lake when they were filming for HF Outdoors. So that's awesome. All right, let's get to work. Try a different strategy. I'm gonna try to do it like a racetrack. Let's see if that works. push this down with a grapple so I can have more room. But it's cleaning up nice. Real nice actually. What's nice is you can adjust that top link and it'll give you more down pressure. I'm gonna turn around and go the other way. Go downhill with it. Let me grab this right quick. is it not looking good? This combination of that grapple and that rake, fantastic. I've just been making passes, you know, making it with my grapple and my rake. A couple of roots in here. Have to feather the rake. Man, putting it with a hydraulic toppling, very nice, very nice. Done though. I'll tell you what I told the pastor. What I didn't want to do is come over here and potentially break my tractor, bust a hydraulic line, whatever. If you know, just next month he's going to bring a bulldozer in here and bulldoze it down. I mean, that makes no sense, right? So he was like, well, we don't have any plans for it right now as far as that goes. We just want to get it cleaned up so that we can see what we're going to do with the space, which, you know, it's easier to see what you got once it's all cleaned up. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go over there and I'll get it clean for you. And that way you'll know if you want to cut down trees, if you want to make a parking lot, if you want to make a playground, whatever, and then they can make that decision. But I'm gonna park in the shade and show you what we've done. I think I'm done. I've got 462 on the clock, 462 hours on the clock. So we've been out here an hour, about 2 hours, something like that. And now we'll talk more about this landscape rake. So I didn't have to get off. I didn't have to get off and like clean out these tines, I think, but once, and that's because I got this vine right here. This vine got wrapped around them, and I didn't really need to clean it up per se, but I just did to keep that vine from running around. The quick hitch did great. I got it from Good Works Tractors from Courtney. It did fantastic. The rake did fine. Homestead Implements tractor obviously done fine. The tractor is blowing a little warm on the AC. So I called my dealer and I was like, hey, I'm going out of town next week. Can I drop this off and let you take a look at it? I looked at the clutch. I looked at the wiring and everything looks good. So good thing I didn't run over that. But I'm gonna drop this off at the shop and let him take a look at the AC while I'm gone, because it's started blowing a little less than, it didn't blow as cold, so I didn't care for that too much. All right, well, get you that combination. That hydraulic top link is really going to help you out on a situation like this. A grapple and a landscape rake, fantastic combination. Look at this place. I mean, just look how smooth that is up in here. I didn't get back in here because of the overhang, but man, this is just great. This is really, really good. It smoothed it out some too, you know? Yeah, it looks good. I'll come by hand and pick up some of these bigger pieces right quick, just so I can get out of here. But well, sometimes knucklehead, I forgot to bring a fuel can, and I've got 2 dots left, so I mean I have an hour worth of fuel left, I'm sure. But I'll just pick this up right quick and then call it a day. If you're a tractor owner and you got land that you've been clearing, think about getting a landscape rake and coupling it with a grapple. I think you'll like that. All right, you guys take care. God bless.